All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to regular meeting of council on April 18th, 2024. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:31. We'll begin the agenda with disclosure of pecuniary interest. Deputy Mayor Widner.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have three: the College Line drain and the Learn drain and the Colho drain. That's under E3.
Thank you for that. They are noted. Next is approval of previous minutes. So our meeting from April 4th. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, may I have a motion, please?
That the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on April 4th, 2024 be adopted as printed and circulated.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Cerna moves, Counselor Leach seconds, all in favor? And that's carried. We don't have any presentations, delegations, petitions this evening, so we'll move straight to reports of departments, starting with the Director of Fire and Emergency Services. Director Spoor.
That was a quick trip right to the reports. For you, through your worship, for this reports, this is my first quarter report for the 2024 year. Just a couple highlights for my report for the year for you, for councils, is call volume is typically right at where we are usually for this time of year. We did start off in January with a really high amount of calls, a lot more than usual. Nothing in particular reasoning why, but just seemed like a lot for the month. Seems to level off since then. A little bit of a note that we actually went in a month in Malahide without a car accident. Month of March, no MVCs, so none that were reportable injuries anyway. So that's we've already blown that away in April, but they took their time off. So couple public education and some community stuff there. We did the Maple Syrup Festival at Springwater this year, worked out really well with the OPP and had a lot of people through our burn trailer and gave out some public information. And also note that the Allied South Station in the report there donated $3,300 in cash to the East Elgin Community Assistance Program, and also donated all the food they collected at the food drive. So that helped them out a lot, and it was good. And then just finished off that quarter with the Easter egg hunt here in Springfield, where the firefighters come and help the kids with their course there. So other than that, there's not too much really out of the ordinary for the rest of the report. If council has any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Counselor Lewis.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Jeff. I apologize for not calling today and asking you. Just the dollar value I see on the motor vehicle collision recoveries. Like we've had 7 reported and you're at 19.5. And I look at 2022 and there was 46 reported and at 23. What's what's the difference? Something's happened, something's changed,
We did switch the new cost recovery bylaw in 2023 in February. So we didn't have a full year of that already beforehand. The couple in the cost goes up a lot when we're there for a long time. So that cuts our recoveries back. So they're anticipated there's probably a couple, I know there's a couple accidents we've had already this year that have were long duration. And I think one was over 10,000 just for itself. So yeah, so.
Anyone else? Deputy Mayor Widner.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Through to Chief Spoor. I understand with the eclipse, you were quite busy down there. It was a good day. There was a lot to crowd. We had great weather. Thanks for organizing that too. And went really well. So congratulations to everybody who was involved. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we were well prepared with the county and our emergency service and public works as well. So the idea that we had to shut the dead end roads off and stuff like that, I think helped a lot for reducing risk for people to come off the cliffs and stuff like that, and protect some private land and stuff there. Now, Port Bruce, I've never seen so many cars there. Like every street had double line cars, but really well. Like I found that as a public event, it was really well. People were calm. They weren't excited. They weren't rushing to get out of there. They took their time. Now I got back to the station, South Station just after 5 and I took a picture up behind the hall. I think I sent it to you there that traffic was still lined up past John Wise then. And that was 5 o'clock, so a couple hours later. So, but I did find out later that the Port Stanley was sending a little bit of traffic that way down Dexter. So even when I left, just before 5, the restaurants there were still lined up. And so there's still people hanging out. I think the Port Bruce put themselves in a good light for people coming from out of town. I've seen lots of plates from Maryland. There was a lot of people from Europe that were there, and they got to get a good view of what we had here to offer in Mountain Heights. So it's good.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, congratulations. I know it's a team effort, the whole township and the county, and it went very, very well. So good job. Anything else? Nothing? The motion, please.
That report number F 2403 entitled Emergency Services Activity Report, Quarterly Report, January to March be received.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Galinsky moves, Counselor Lewis second. All in favor? That's carried. Next, we jump to the report from Public Works. Director Godby, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you to council. Have a few different drainage reports here this evening. The first one, PW 2412, is multiple petitions for drainage along College Line. Essentially, this was kind of triggered by our pending reconstruction of College Line. The municipality identified the need to get some drainage improvements for the road. At that point, our drainage superintendent, Bob Lopez, who is online with us here tonight as well, in case needed, had also had discussions with some of the adjoining landowners. Subsequent to those discussions, we received 3 additional petitions for drainage in this area, which really does illustrate, the need to get some improvement done there. So this report is essentially to receive those petitions and assign an engineer so that we can proceed with getting the appropriate drainage works completed. If anyone has any questions, I will gladly answer.
Questions or comments on the College Line petition for drainage? Not seeing any. May I have the motion then?
That report number PW 2412 entitled Petitions for Drainage College Line be received, and that John M. Spreet of Spreet Associates be appointed to prepare an engineer's report for these petitions.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Cerna moves, Counselor Leach seconds. All in favor? That's carried. The next report is about the Learn Drain.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, through you to council. Report PW 2413 is a new engineer's report for the Learn Drain. If council wishes, if you look at starting on page 25 of your council agenda, you'll see an overview map of the portion of the Learn Drain that has specifically kind of triggered this work. On the following page, you'll see a few photos that have been taken to kind of illustrate the current situation. Essentially, this is one of the older drains within the municipality. There's been various works done to it over the years, but nothing of significance has ever really been done to this open portion. Through the course of the years, there's been a lot of erosion, sedimentation, and damage at one point through the life of this drain due to livestock actually down in the drain, and that's how you can kind of see the fact that a lot of the open channel that used to be there has kind of been filled in and damaged down and flattened out. Yeah. So this is actually slightly unusual for Malahide in the sense that this one is one that we as staff have initiated. The assignment of a new engineer. Normally, the practice has been that we wait for petitions from drainage from the landowners for improvement. However, in our opinion, this drain needs to be addressed. And really the only way to do it now is through a petition to assign an engineer to reevaluate the drain in the entire drainage area. Basically, because over the course of the past 100+ years, there have been numerous extensions put on it. It's not really been properly fully maintained. It's obviously had these livestock in it. The original survey marks are gone. So our best bet at this point to get this back into proper functioning condition would be to have a new engineer assigned to it who will take an overall look at the whole drain, make any engineering adjustments and assessment adjustments that may be required. And then we will proceed with the recommendations after that. So if anyone has any questions, I will gladly answer.
Thank you for that. Counselor Leach.
Through to Director Godby. Is this midsection? Is it end of the drain? I don't have a drain map in front of me to know where exactly it lies in the grand scheme of things.
For you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Leach. This is essentially the bottom end of the drain. This is right where the outlet of the drain is. It heads kind of in an easterly direction, and then it outlets into an open channel that is no longer the municipal drain. Most of the addition that's happened to this has been further upstream, where tile sections through some of the agricultural fields that ultimately feed down through this portion feed to. So the short answer, yes, it's the end.
Any further questions? Counselor Cerna.
Director Government, is this so going to be an open drain?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Cerna, the intention from our side looking at it would be that, yes, it would likely continue to remain as an open ditch drain through there. That being said, through the whole process, if there are landowners in that area that wish to see it enclosed, I mean, now would be the time to have those types of conversations if we did want to change that type of change the drain in that type of manner. But essentially, we'd be looking at trying to probably straighten it out and maybe realign it through the property as an open drain still.
Okay.
Counselor Wilson.
Through you, Madam Mayor. If they keep the water buffalo out of there this time, it'll probably stay less trampled.
Any further questions or comments? Seeing none. May I have the motion, please?
The report number PW 2413 entitled New Engineers Report Learn Drain be received, and that Mike DeVos of Spreed Associates be appointed to prepare a new engineer's report for the open portion of the Learn Drain pursuant to Section 78 of the Drainage Act, RSO 1990.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Lewis moved, Counselor Cerna seconds. All in favor? That's carried. And the next petition for drainage, the Coelho drain, Mr. Godby.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to council, report PW 2415. It's petition for drainage, the Coelho petition. I apologize if that is the incorrect pronunciation. Coelho. Well, there we go. Thank you very much. This is another petition for drainage that ultimately has been received. There's some old infrastructure that crosses under Talbot Line, Highway 3, that is really, it's there and it's conveying water from the north side of the highway to the south side, which ultimately is making it through the property down to, there's two ravines. If you look on the overview map on page 30 of your agenda, the purpose of this petition is going to be to provide a proper outlet that can then have these drains be recognized and maintained under the Drainage Act, and address some of the issues that these drains are currently causing for the property owner. So the goal here is to assign an engineer and get these things done and installed, and ultimately fix the problem for the petitioning landowner. If there's any questions, I'll gladly answer.
Questions or comments? Looks pretty straightforward. Thank you. So the motion, please.
The report number PW 2415 entitled Petition for Drainage Coelho be received, and that John M. Spreed of Spreed Associates Limited be appointed to prepare an engineer's report for the Coelho petition pursuant to section 5 to 8 of the Drainage Act, RSO 1990.
Mover and seconder, please. Counselor Wilson moved, Counselor Leach seconds, all in favor, and that's carried. Invite the deputy mayor back as we move to the next report. Tender results for the supply and placement of road granulars. Mr. Gombe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to council, report PW 2416. It's tender results, supply and placement of road granulars. This is, we issued the tender for the supply and placement of road granulars. That includes all the gravel that we're going to be putting on our gravel resurfacing roads for this year, as well as the gravel that we're going to require for any of our road reconstruction efforts that we're doing. That would be on Chalet, College, and Pressy. And saying that, the gravel resurfacing, we're doing Chalet and Sawmill are the two that are being focused on this year. So we did put that out to tender. This is to award the low bid, and that would be going to Mackenzie and Henderson Limited of Forest. They meet all of our requirements and provided us bid pricing that is within budget. So with that, if there are any further questions, I will gladly answer.
Thank you for that. Good to hear within budget. It seems to stabilize a little bit, like the jumps in the past few years were quite significant and now maybe not as much. So hopefully that's a good trend. Fingers crossed. Any further comments? Councillor Leach?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Director Godby. If are prices for granulars typically stable throughout a full season, or can they be anticipated like other commodities to fluctuate? And if so, is that this company is guaranteed this price for the full season?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Leach. Yes, this price is set. The price per ton is what they have set for the year, and that is typical. A lot of these aggregate pits, they'll usually set their rates for the year. In a case like this, when we issue tenders like this, it'll be in this one being a supply and place. That is their total rate for them to also truck it from the pit to the site, place it on the ground, and at that point, that's when our staff take over with the spreading and compacting and all that stuff. So yes, the price is set for all of this work for this calendar year.
Councillor Lewis?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Jason Gubby. So is this normally, would it normally come from that far away, or did the battery plant consume all local pits around and make this happen, that we get it from Forest or not? I'm just curious.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Lewis. Well, the company, the site is actually located in Woodstock. So this company will be picking up at Oxford Sand and Gravel in Woodstock and then bringing it to us. I have not heard anything definitive about the potential future battery plant taking all the gravel from around here. However, anecdotally, I have heard that they have made a lot of local commitment to providing the aggregates from there. Ultimately, we're going to get it wherever we can get the best rate for our taxpayers. So In this case, it just happens to be coming from a company and a pit that aren't necessarily as local as we typically deal with.
Thank you for those questions. Deputy Mayor Widner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, through to Jason. On page 32, we've got the following road sections are designated for gravel supply for road reconstruction. You got College Line, Springwater to Rogers. Is that still correct? I understood that we're going to leave that and go to the east, but I could be wrong.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, through you to the Deputy Mayor. That is a good question, and we have not fully arrived on a conclusion on that as of yet. As I guess some of you may be aware, there is a pending development application in that area, which my understanding is going to be probably before this council sometime around June. And in the event that this application is approved, staff may return to council making a suggestion that we do a little bait and switch on the College Line reconstruction effort and move further east down the line to do a different section of College of the about same level of effort in order to allow any of the development works or site works that may have to be done to have that done prior to us having built a new road. If there's going to be a lot of other earthworks and site triangles and other things to be done in and around that area, we don't necessarily want to have our brand new road getting mucked up. So it may become staff's recommendation to do that. That being said, we will definitely be in a better position to have a much bigger conversation about that at the same night that development application comes forward before you all.
Thank you for somewhat clarifying.
To be continued. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, Clerk Adams, the motion, please.
The report number PW 2416 entitled Tender Results Supply and Placement of Road Granulars be received, and that the tender for the supply and placement of road granulars contract be awarded to Mackenzie and Henderson Limited of Forest, Ontario in the amount of $684,401 plus applicable taxes, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to enter into an agreement with Mackenzie and Henderson Limited for the purpose of completing the supply and placement of road granulars program.
Mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Widner moves, Councillor Lewis seconds. All in favor? That's carried. And one more report, Mr. Godby, off-road vehicles bylaw.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to council, report PW 2414 is an amendment to the designated highways listing within our off-road vehicles bylaw. This process was initiated by the Talbot Trail ATV Club. They had sent a request looking to have a minor-ish westerly extension down John Wise based on the function of where they want to be able to get off on property and unload their ATVs. And then so it's just a slight extension further west down John Wise line. At the same time, Mapleton line was included in their designated highways, in the designated highways portion of this bylaw at one point. That is no longer part of their trail network. So administratively, we're going to have that piece removed. If you were to look at the map, which is on page 38 of your agenda, you can kind of see where they've got approval to run down our roads in order to connect all of their other off-road trails together. The only thing I would note is that we do have a minor amendment to the designated highways table on page 37. And that is, we are now just adding a bit of language to recognize there's a slight offset of the intersections of Sawmill Road at Vienna Line. It's not a perfect straight through intersection. So just to make sure that we have absolute clarity in the bylaw, the wording that the clerk has and has prepared for the bylaw also has added Vienna line from the north leg of Sawmill Road to the south leg of Sawmill Road. So it's just a very short portion where they do that S turn through the intersection. And if there are any other questions about this, I will gladly answer.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Counselor Lewis?
Through Madam Mayor, just a comment more than anything. And I can't speak for all the farmers by any means, but the ones that have brought forward conversation in the area are very pleased with the club. They spend time cleaning up. They actually, pick up what others on ATVs drop behind and try to actually monitor it a little bit. And so if they see people that are on there that aren't plated from the club, they will ask them to actually exit and leave because they don't have the insurance and they don't have the coverage that the club has. So very well organized club from experience.
Great. Thank you for that. Yep, good partnership. Any further comments, questions? Seeing none, motion please.
That report number PW 2414 entitled Off-Road Vehicles Bylaw Designated Highways Amendment be received, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute an amending bylaw for the purpose of updating the designated highways and the off-road vehicles bylaw as outlined in this report, with specifically adding the Vienna line portion that was excluded from the copy in the report.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Counselor Glinski moves. Counselor Wilson seconds. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, Mr. Godby. We'll move to, next report is the council chambers renovation. Director Boylan is not here this evening, so I'll turn it over to CO Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this report is to seek council's feedback on staff's concept plan for the council chambers renovation. As you may recall, this was approved in the 2023 budget and has been brought forward in the 2024 budget. In terms of the scope, the layout was limited due to electrical outlets, but this layout was put forward to maximize the available space in the room, position the gallery and podium into a more appropriate location, remove potential trip hazards, and improve the visibility of all participants. In total, we're looking at 13 chairs to be replaced, and some of the existing chairs that here will be reused at the municipal office. Council will have the opportunity to test the chairs to determine what is more comfortable. In terms of desks, we're aiming to reuse most of the desks that you do see here. We would work, not those ones in particular, not the plastic ones, but the wooden desks here, and the plan is to refurbish it and make them look new. And there would be just one additional desk that would be brought forward for staff. And also in the scope of work is the flooring to replace the carpet. New walls and walls will be painted with a fresh coat, and the removal of the unused whiteboard will also be in the scope, while adding a new signage for the township name and logo. In terms of timing, we're looking at between the first meeting in August and the first meeting in September to have these renovations done.
All right, thank you for that. Comments, questions? Counselor Leach?
Through Madam Mayor to CAO DS. So we have had some casual conversations about cameras, and will there be one camera or potentially two? And so that there's better visibility for those who are unable to be here in person?
Thank you for that. CO Diaz?
Through Madam Mayor. We are looking at a solution that includes coverage to allow all individuals in the room to be seen on camera. So a full 360, so to speak. With that regard, we're just looking through the logistics and feasibility of what's the appropriate product and how we can integrate it with our live streaming software.
Counselor Serna, Deputy Mayor Widner, right after. Is that okay? Counselor Serna.
Did you want to go first? Okay, first of all, the gallery, do we need that many chairs? Because we always have so many people coming to the meetings and I don't know what kind of chairs they are or how much they cost, but there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 chairs. And I don't know if we need quite that many. And the other thing is, I don't know who's gonna pick the carpet out. But I deal at the Royal Bank in Elmer. And for a business that makes billions of dollar profit, I don't know if they got Stevie Wonder to pick the carpet out or whatever, but it is terrible. And every time I go there, I ask every client what they think of it, and it makes you wanna whatever. So make sure whoever gets it something decent. Thank you.
These can be very subjective, but
No.
Um,
I like that.
I want to go back to the chairs. Your first comment and questions were about the chairs. So can we clarify, we're reusing the chairs that we already have? We're not purchasing any more? Is that correct, Mr. Godby?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, through you. That was the intention. I think the reason for showing the 2 rows is just to show that even with these chairs, which we're not buying new ones, we'll be able to fit significantly more people in case, though they do get filled. Yeah, you never know what we may be talking about where we may need some more room. So it's really about maximizing the available space in this room.
Yeah, I recall meeting. We used to have, I think, 3 rows, and I recall meetings with the whole gallery being full. But I mean, the point is they're flexible. We can adjust the numbers. A follow-up, Counselor Serna,
Yeah,
before we
so-
turn it over to the Deputy Mayor.
So what's this gonna cost? 20 grand?
I believe that's the total budget set aside.
So we're gonna spend $20,000 and we're gonna get fancy chairs and new desks and we're gonna give the taxpayers those things? Holy cow, that's just my comment. That's cool. I like that.
We're going for the flexibility. That's what. Deputy Mayor Widner.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm looking at the carpet and of course, what do I know? It's like I'm looking at an old truck, but I don't see that much wrong with this carpet. It's not worn out. If it needs to be cleaned, it could be cleaned. Yeah. And even I wouldn't replace it with carpet myself again. I'd probably put that laminated hardwood down, that simulated stuff, because it's easier to clean, less dust, whatever. But I don't see that much wrong with it, but I could save 10 grand real quick on this project if it was mine. But we're not redoing everything anyway, so it's just a fresh update. Maybe a paint job, that's fine, but that's my opinion anyway. Thank you.
Counselor Leach.
Do we know how old this carpet is?
2001, when they built
It was a good carpet when it went in. It doesn't look its age.
It doesn't look, it's aging well. I mean, there isn't a lot of traffic and compared perhaps to a bank. It's not a heavy traffic. I think it's worth looking at. I don't know what it would, the duct tape has been on there for a couple of years now, so I don't know what that looks like when you remove duct tape from a carpet. So it's almost half the budget. So I agree it's worth having a second look. If it needs perhaps just a deep clean, I think it's worth looking at. One more comment, Counselor Serna?
You guys are starting to sound like my mother. I'm renovating a house that was built in 1962 and everything in it is original. Everything. Nothing was ever replaced and she thinks it's perfect. Okay? So she'd be proud. So things need to be replaced. Nothing lasts forever. Thank you.
Counselor Glinski.
Madam Mayor, if we go to two microphones, cameras, will we have to have somebody switching back and forth so that the camera is picking up, the camera is picking up what it needs to pick up? Or can that be done from,
I believe not. We shouldn't have to have an operator.
yeah,
Like in a broadcasting studio with the camera switcher. I don't know if staff want to comment on that. CAO Diaz.
In terms of the look, I think that we're aiming for, it would be something that would be seamless where you could see both sides simultaneously at once, or a solution that's able to be as least disruptive as possible. So hopefully not switching back and forth too much.
And I agree with, if possible, the two cameras, because, I mean, if you're watching online, to only be able to see half and not being able to see either staff or delegations, it is a bit awkward. So it really should be the minimum standard is to see everybody in the room. Deputy Mayor Widner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I believe the county we went with new camera systems up there, and you can see the whole council, but then when you speak, it focuses on you. Is that what you're looking at? No?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I think the scope of what we're looking at right now, we're trying to fine tune what solution would work best. Some cameras that do have that capability can work out to be quite expensive. Specifically those ones that move around and zoom in, and they could be anywhere. Some quotes I've seen about $2,000 for some of these cameras. So if we have a more cost-effective solution, it may just be about 100, 150 for a specific camera that we could install.
Good. Yeah, I think it is time, as frugal as we want to be. I mean, I think it's been mentioned, we have wires everywhere, we have duct tape, we have plastic tables. So I think it's time to reflect the township. Any further questions or comments? Councilor Glinski?
Madam Mayor, I noticed that there isn't a table for the newsman, but he's hardly ever here now, like he used to be in the other chambers. We used to have a special table for him. Any thought been given to that? Thank you.
Any comments on that? Yeah, it is more convenient for, if there is a reporter, to be able to have a laptop. Any comments on that? Could it be accommodated? We can, I guess, salvage one of these tables, the plastic tables, because it is rare now, but COD is.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, certainly that's something we can look at, even if it's something that we need to temporarily keep in some of the extra storage space here, and we can move out and put when it's needed for laptops, for instance, for journalists or anyone else that may bring a computer.
Good questions, comments. Councillor Leach?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'd like to thank the staff for preparing this, because I know there are a lot of challenges with this room, and what they came up with is a nice fit. We'll have to see how it works in reality, but on paper, it looks good.
CODs?
Yes, and with regard to testing out the layout, we're aiming to schedule some time. I'll discuss with staff. We were looking at as early as next week, but I need to just make sure that we don't double book and this room in order to try that out. So I will confirm when that's available, and we can perhaps do a drop-in to see how this potential layout may work.
And Mr. Gotby?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just with respect to Councillor Leach's comment, I I do have to point out that I didn't really have anything to do with this. I kind of like seeing Counselor Cerna at a table here in front of me, but at the end of the day, our staff member Talia Jones, she put a lot of thought and effort into this, and it really, she's the one that has a bit of design finesse behind her. So I think she deserves a lot of the credit for coming up with this and really putting some thought into how we can make things better.
Well, that's much appreciated because, yeah, even though we're renovating the physical aspect, it's still going to help also the virtual delivery and ease of attendance that way. And Mr. Counselor Glinski.
Madam Mayor, the table that's at the staff is at, I don't think it's really big enough for four to be sitting at it. Is there going to be a new table? Or are there going to be two tables? Thank you.
CODS, you want to comment on that?
Through you, Madam Mayor. The only table that right now wouldn't be replaced would be this one. Otherwise, that table will be brought in the middle here, and that's essentially the plan.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Whitnam?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question with the seating arrangement. Will still be the three up front at the main table with the elevated chair in the middle, I suppose, right? Like the Speaker of the House.
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor. I think, again, with regard to this layout, we can assume that it may be a similar position where everyone may want to sit. That being said, there's nothing limiting members if they want to look at rearranging.
Yeah, as you said, we'll have a chance to test it out to see if what is the best. We've talked about, different different seating arrangement, but yeah, we can try it out. One final comment, Counselor Cerna.
Okay, rather than try to make this work, because it's of the size, there's plenty of room at the South Fire Hall. Why wouldn't we try to make that work? Just a thought, but it makes more sense than trying to invest money here and there's room there. If that would be okay with you, Chief Spore.
The room's there, but the problem is you'll be setting it up and down. We have, there's ongoing training stuff there, so you'll never be able to leave the setup like it is. So there'll be some staff would be setting it up, take it down, set it up, take it down, set it up, take it down constantly. So that'd be a concern.
Great. May I have the motion, please?
The report number FIN 2414 titled Council Chambers Renovations be received and that the Council Chambers Renovations Concept Plan is approved as appended.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Leach moves, Counselor Cerna seconds. All in favor? That's carried. So we said we approve the concept, or the plan is approved as appended with, consideration to the comments shared this evening. Perfect. Okay. Thanks. With that, we'll move to the next section on the agenda as a report from our clerk, and the social media policy is back for its final view. Over to you, Clerk Adams.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. This report serves as the final document to formalize the social media policy, incorporating the discussed amendments from the previous meeting, notably Schedule C. Should you have any additional inquiries, I'm happy to answer them.
This is one that we've discussed and reviewed a couple of times, so good feedback was provided. I think the final product is in good shape. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain the motion.
The report number clerk 2405 entitled Social Media Policy be received and that the social media policy attached be adopted and incorporated into Malahide's policy manual, noting such policy will replace the social media policy dated May 29th, 2015.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Glinski moves, Counselor Leach second, all in favor, and that's carried. Next, we have reports from outside boards. So this week we have reports from our 3 conservation authorities. We have the minutes from each of those and their AGMs. Any comments or questions for our representatives? Seeing none, the motion, please.
That the following reports of committees and outside boards be noted and filed: Catfish Creek Conservation Authority minutes of March 7th, 2024. Long Point Region Conservation Authority minutes of March 1st, 2024. Kettle Creek Conservation Authority Annual General Meeting minutes of February 21st, 2024, and their meeting minutes of February 7th, 2024.
Thank you. Mover and seconder. Counselor Lewis moves. Counselor Cerna second. All in favor? That's carried. Next is correspondence. There are 8 items. Comments? Deputy Mayor Widner.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Number 3, the correspondence from Jane Holland, a local doctor shortage with East Elgin Family Health Team. Totally agree with what she's saying, and I totally understand, but I don't know what the answer is. It seems like that system is broken. There's not enough incentives for these doctors to come here and stay because they can get better pay going elsewhere and with less work, so. It's probably provincial, federal needs to be in there, but it's been this way for a while now, so there's a lot of people around there who don't have doctors and they have to travel, which is too bad. It worked a lot better about 10 years ago, and I don't know what happened, but I have an idea. But talked to a couple doctors that have left, and a lot of it is about money, so I don't blame them. Anyway, I just like to support her on that. Thank you.
I have Counselor Wilson first and then Counselor Glinski.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'd like to support the town of Goderch's stuff here. The phasing out of free well water testing by the provincial government is short-sighted. It's going to lead to another Walkerton. If people have to pay for something that is mandated that they have to do, they just won't do it. So you're gonna save a few pennies and you're gonna cost a lot of dollars in the end of this, and it's gonna be people's lives. The Ontario Groundwater Association is already fighting against this, and to support Goderch's letter here, that's fantastic because it's short-sighted.
Thank you for that. Counselor Glinski.
Madam Mayor, just to come back to number 3 and the doctor shortage. Years ago, we used to have a committee with Aylmer and that went out and actually canvassed the college for doctors. And I don't know if anyone's thought of going to the college to look for a doctor, but I know when I was in the hiring business for Davenport, if I needed a specific teacher, I would go to London and talk to the professor in charge of that department and who they might recommend that's coming out of the college. And I think we ended up with probably one of the best staffs in the area. But it wasn't because they just fell in on us. We had to kind of go looking for them. And I just wonder if we shouldn't be doing that. And secondly, I noticed in the Aylmer Express that the province is funding vets to go to veterinary college. And then to start up practice, there's a certain amount of money that is available for them to set up a practice. And that goes on for 5 years, and when they take this money from the province, they're agreeing to go to the area where they're being placed and be there for at least 5 years. That, I know that's not a perfect answer, but at least if we could get someone in that kind of a situation, and even though it would cost the government some money, I think that's money well spent. As a matter of fact, when we used to do the canvassing, we had the committee here. The township put up a certain amount of money that if somebody came, the township would pay for helping them set up. So between the province and the township and possibly Aylmer, that might be a way to entice, because as someone said in the background a little while ago, it's all about money. And this would help because somebody coming out of med school doesn't have a ton of money to set up an office and a practice. That's just my thought. And I hope we can go somewhere along in that direction. Thank you.
So I know the county, so with Elgin and I believe St. Thomas, there is a specific committee or group. Do you sit on this committee, Deputy Mayor? So, but, and there is a person hired to, so there's a specific doctor's recruitment incentive retention program. And the county does provide financial incentives. So if you'd like, we could ask for an update on that. So either a report or a brief presentation. I think it would be good to know where they stand, what their challenges are. I'd be happy to invite them. I think it would be useful.
Madam Mayor, I think that's an excellent idea. Thank you.
Councillor Wilson?
Through you, Madam Mayor, through when we were doing the tours with the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority, they took us out to Dalewood, and they had brought just the week prior probably a dozen or so doctors they're recruiting, and take them on a hike and show them what they've got, to show them what's there in the community. And I know there are efforts being made. It's just it might not necessarily hurt for us to be doing our own efforts as well, because it's great. St. Thomas is recruiting. What about East Elgin? So
Okay, so I'll suggest we proceed with an invitation for a presentation, and then we'll see, and then we can have a discussion if it does need supplementary or, some sort of partnership or collaboration, that if we need to top up the incentives for this area, perhaps with Aylmer. So let's start with the presentation. Deputy Mayor Widner?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just years ago, when the township, and I guess it was Bayham and Central Elgin, we were involved with the medical building. You remember that, Chester? We were involved with the medical. I was the chair for about 5 years. But back then, we were had a little more imagination, I guess. Like if we had a doctor that wanted to come and we thought we'd get him, we'd give him maybe 2 years free rent or something like that. You do what you have to do to get him here. You tie him down for maybe 3 or 4 years, and it worked really well. I don't know if we can do that anymore or whether that's possible, and I think you can probably do what you want, but I think, isn't the province trying to fast track a lot of these doctors in now? There's special universities that are saying, here, come here, and we'll try to get you through. But it doesn't seem to help these rural areas, and it is all about money, and that's the sad part, but a lot of it's paperwork. And I don't blame the doctors. They work all day, then they got to do 2 or 3 hours of paperwork. They have no time with their family, and that was one of the ones I heard from all the doctors that left. So if the province can come up with some kind of, secretarial system so they can be doctors instead of doing all their own paperwork. So anyway, that's just a little history lesson, what we used to do, and it used to work. So thank you.
Follow up, Councillor Glinski?
Madam Mayor, it is a lot about money, and it is important for the province to get involved, because I've got 4 nieces and nephews that are doctoring in the States. And the reason they went there originally, because first of all, it was easier to get into schools and better scholarships and that kind of stuff. And and they stayed there. So I think we have to do something. Thank you.
Definitely a complex issue that needs to be approached from as many angles as possible. So thank you for that, and we'll proceed with scheduling a presentation and update on the local efforts. There are no further comments, then the resolution, please.
That items 3 and 4 be supported and the remaining items be noted and filed.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Glinski moves, Counselor Wilson seconds, all in favor? That's carried. Next, we have other business. There's the request for the portion of the pier in Port Bruce for fireworks. I don't know if there's Director Sport, do you want to comment on that, please?
Yeah, that's the South Association's looking for to secure the location they used the last previous few years. Just do their fireworks display again for the May 24th weekend. There's 2 dates on the letter there. One is for the rain date following. And that was also the note that they will be covering the insurance and naming the township in the insurance as well.
Great, that's been a successful event in the past. So any further questions or comments on that? I'm not seeing any. There's a resolution for that then?
That Malahide Volunteer Firefighter Association be granted permission to utilize a portion of the pier in Port Bruce for the purpose of a fireworks display on Sunday, May 19th, with the rain date being Monday, May 20th, subject to providing the township with proof of event liability insurance, naming the township of Malahide as an additional insured.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Lewis moves. Deputy Mayor Widner seconds. All in favor? And that's carried. Any other business? Counselor Wilson?
Through you, Madam Mayor, more of an announcement, but my sister-in-law, Liz Wilson, has been appointed to be a judge in Simcoe. So just wanted to congratulate her, and way to go, Liz.
Thank you for that. Also shortage of judges too, so it's good that these appointments are happening. Looking at our previous resolution on volunteers, it is this week, the recognition of this volunteer recognition week. And so I do want to take a moment to recognize all the volunteers in our township. I don't have to tell you just how much work gets done in the township, and all the fundraising from all the service clubs and all the different organizations. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's truly volunteers are the backbone of a community. And we said in our strategic plan, we're a close-knit community, and that's in large part because of all the volunteer work and how people work together and accomplish amazing things. So many, many thanks to all the volunteers in Malahide and everything you do in all ages and all the types of work. Any further comments in other business? And if not, we'll move to bylaws.
That
Go
the
ahead.
following bylaw be considered read a first, second, and third reading and properly signed and sealed. Bylaw 2413, Off-Road Vehicles Amendment Bylaw with the addition of the Vienna line portion.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Surna moves, Counselor Leach seconds, all in favor? That's carried. And we're now ready to move into closed session. May I have a motion for that, please?
The council move into closed session at 8:30 PM pursuant to section 239-2 of the Municipal Act as amended to discuss the following personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, regarding the building department updates, section 239-2B, and advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose relating to the EECC governance 239-2F.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Surna moves, Counselor Glinski seconds, all in favor? And that's carried.
Staff were given direction by council on the following items that were discussed in the closed session: personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, For building department updates, section 239-2B, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose relating to the EUCC governance, section 239-2F.
Can I have a mover and seconder for that motion, please? Deputy Mayor Widner, Counselor Leach, all in favor? It's carried. And confirmatory bylaw?
That bylaw number 2417, being a confirmatory bylaw, be given first, second, and third reading and properly signed and sealed.
Mover and seconder. Counselor Cerna moves. Counselor Leach second, all in favor? That's carried. And adjournment.
That council adjourn its meeting at 10:01 PM to meet again on May 2nd at 7:30 PM.
Deputy Mayor Widner moves. It's 10:01. Counselor Cerna seconds. All those in favor? And that's carried. Have a nice evening.